Okay, and again, I would like to ask, is everyone, I mean, joining this section, this class with our system? Because I want this session to be a practical session where I'll give everyone access to the Figma where we can practice with what we are going to study today. If you are joining with your system, kindly signify or let me know.
Yes, I'm joining with my
I'm
system.
joining with my system.
Oh, okay, that's what I guess majority are joining with our system, right?
Okay, we are in kuku chicken here, níbí.
All right, so let's get started. So the topic we'll be looking into today will be cards, designing of cards, table graph and charts and forms. So have anyone, please let me confirm this. Can everyone hear me? Because I don't want anyone to miss this section.
Yes, we can hear you.
That's fine. Okay, so we'll be starting with cards. So we'll be looking into cards design, table design, responsive table designs, and forms. So I'll be starting with cards. Sorry, I was unable to to provide presentation, but I was able to get one of the best article that explained what UI cards is all about and how to design them, the anatomy of UI of cards design. So I'll be starting with card design. So can anyone actually explain with your own, anyone can come up to explain this? What do you when they say what are cards design? What does it look like? Or any explanation that you have, kindly speak if you have any idea about what is card design. Hello. Hello.
Sorry, what did you say?
Oh, wait. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right. I think let me
Yeah,
jump.
I can.
All right. So I think I asked the question now. I didn't get any response from anyone. I said we'll be looking into card design. What do you understand about card design? Card UI designs or UI cards. Anyone
Hello,
can come
good
up.
Cards
afternoon.
are
Yeah.
UI components, basically content containers.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone?
Hi, good
Ti
afternoon.
báyé mouse yìí jẹ́ ni o.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, so to my own understanding, I feel like cards are a like a component of your design.
Kò kí ń ṣe fún nǹkan tí mò ń ṣe. Inú ìdè mouse.
Please, please, if you are not talking, kindly mute your mic, please.
Open the application on the
Hello, did you get me?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't get that. Sorry.
Okay, I said cards are like basic components of your design.
Okay. You're right. You're right. So anyone else? Anyone else want to give it a try?
It is basically a design or a kind of a shape that holds an information about something.
All right. That's totally correct. So
I want to try. I feel that cards in UI actually help us to put our information, arrange our information in a place whereby it's not scattered and it's easily seen and accessed by the users.
okay. It's all right. I mean,
Okay,
do you still have
cards.
anyone that wants to give it a try?
Yeah, cards usually contain images, titles, description, and call to actions, subheadings, and icons. So basically, they are containers, as I said before.
All right. So I'm just going to give you a basic explanation about cards according to this article, because this I'm going to share this with everyone. Let me do that now. So you can all have access to um this article. So basically, according to this article, they said cards are UI components containing content and action about a single case. About a single case. Cards can contain various elements, but they are all used about a single topic. Yeah. So basically, cards actually a card in any type of design you are working on is actually talking about something. So and that thing might contain the image of that uh topic, and also header and subtext, and also action button to give the users, maybe for example, maybe you are reading about so let me make this practical. So I think there's this platform Airbnb. All right, so let me use a site as an example. So these are example of cards. You can see Airbnb is a platform that allows you get house. Maybe you're going on a vacation, you just need a short let for a long period of time. So Airbnb helps you to get houses around that location. So you can see these are an example of cards. We have the image of that particular house. We have the name of the house, the location, and also the price. So the cards is actually talking about a particular topic or object in the UI design. So another thing we'll have to look into is, okay, what are the anatomy of UI cards? So yeah, most UI cards, we have different type of UI cards. Some UI cards contain image, we have the header, we have the subtext, and also have the action. Some we still have the same thing but in different formats. This also contains the image, the header, the subtext, and also a call to action. And everyone actually see the what's it called? See the article I shared now. Do everyone
Yeah,
have
I'm
access to it?
currently looking at it. Yes.
All right. So the article is going to give you right guideline on how to design UI cards. So I don't want to go too much. I mean, I don't want to start reading the article, but I want us to go into Figma and start designing cards, how to design a card in Figma. So let's go into it now. I feel I should give everyone access to this Figma. Oh, can you drop your email address so I can give you access to this Figma link? Because while explaining, I want everyone to be able to design their own UI cards also.
Sorry,
Because I
I
want
think
the
it's
section. What say?
I think it would be best if you just drop the link instead of email.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. But I think if I drop the link, oh, all right, okay, everyone should be able to edit. Copy. All right. Do you all have access to the Figma link now? So, all right. So please, everyone should not, don't get to this section. Just, the Figma space is very, very big enough for you to be able to design. So I'm just going to start with this. Let me use this as an example. Let me bring this out. So for me, anytime I'm designing something, I try to make use of auto layout. I don't know, everyone have heard about auto layout before in Figma, or you've used auto layout before. So what I do first is I create my frame. yeah, F for frame. So what I do is I create a frame, any size, and the next thing I do is, let me just reduce this. Yeah, the next thing I do is I try to make use of auto layout to give it the spacing that I want for the component that is going to be in that frame. I use Shift A to make use of auto layout, or you can also click this button to give you a perfect what's it called, to activate auto layout. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a spacing of, the spacing of uh sometimes I use 8, so because I'll be using 4px grid for this design. I don't know if you had about 4px, 8px. These are spacing used in a design. So it might be some people use 2px, which is pixels, or 8px, 4px, but I'm fine with 4px because it gives me that flexibility to work with large numbers. So I'm going to use 8. Okay. So any component I'm going to design here, or any component I'm going to put in inside this frame, is going to give me the spacing of 8px. So let me give this as an example. Let me give an example. So let me draw shape now. You can see that for every component I'm bringing into this frame, it's going to give me 8px. So you can see, let's say I'm going to add text, header. You know what? Let me finish explaining. Then you can all design your own, and after designing, just put your name under. So I would say that, okay, this is for so person. So header, I can just bring the header into this frame. You can see, let me just change the color. So you can see I'm still getting the spacing of 4, because from my auto layout, the distance of each component will be 4. So let me use 16 here. All right, so this is the header. And also let me add a subtext to it. So since I'm using my header is 24, I would like to use a subtext of 16. Let me use 16. Reduce it. Okay, let me get the person. So yeah, okay, let me go back. If you notice something happened here, immediately I copied my text and pasted it here. So yeah, now making use of auto layouts will give me access to align things very well. So for example, if you look at this text and the text is under all content, so I don't know if they've actually explained how to use auto layouts. I can actually give quick intro on how to use auto layout. Have you guys been taught how to use auto layout?
Yes, we
Yes.
were.
Oh,
We're
all
just
right, so that's
previous
fine.
class.
Oh, all right, that's fine. So I'm just going to make use of auto layout here just to make sure every property is working fine. So what I'm going to do is fill content, fill content. So, all right, and then I'm going to add my call to action. So let me use this. Let me use this. Then add my call to action to this. So, okay. Let me add my call to action to this. What's the current state? Okay, all content fixed. Yo. All right. So basically, if you are designing any cards, because this is the most common cards while designing, so you have the header, you have the subtext and call to action. So with the use of auto layout, it's going to help you to maintain things well. For example, now let's say I want to adjust the distance of every component here. You can see it's be very easy for me to make adjustments to those things while using auto layout. So I think that's the most, I mean, the basic thing while designing cards. So these are other examples. So the same thing. Okay, let me bring this out. All right, so this is another example. So what you just need to do is add your image, your header, and the subtext, and your call to action. So your call to action might be two type of call. You might have different type of call to action. You might have the two call to action might be one. So let me show you the example of two call to action here. All right, sorry, okay. All right, so we may have different call to action. For example, now here I think you'll have to get something. Maybe it might be more or buy. So you may have to call to action or one. So the same process still follow. You must have the image of that object or any topic you are trying to talk in that section, and also the header and the subtext and the call to action. So that's the basic time we're designing a card. So I think I've been seeing some people trying to work here. I mean, can anyone practice what I just did here? So I'll know that everyone is in a good place and everyone can actually design a card. So what you just need to just create a frame.
Yeah, sorry, sir. I can't actually work on the page. It's on my hand. It's just view only. I can only see, but I can't work on the page.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, sorry. I think I gave. Yeah, I think everyone can edit. All right. I
It's
think
the
you should
same
check.
here too. I can't work on the page.
Oh, all right. Don't worry. I'm coming. Oh, let me add a new thing. Okay, let me move it here. Oh, I think the design is currently on. Let me see if I can create a new Figma link and everyone can have access to it. Oh. I think everyone won't be able to design because I think some of the Figma features are now premium. They are now premium. So what do you guys suggest? What should we do? I mean, I can't allow everyone to start creating their own Figma page and start dropping the link. It's going to be stressful. So what we just need to do is just design a card and we can make use of the Slack session, I mean the Slack, and design a card and maybe snap or send me the PNG or JPEG of your card. So, I mean, let's follow that out. I can move to the next one. So pretty much that's how you design a card. The basic there is you have the image of the object you are trying to, or the content you are trying to talk about, the header, the subtext, and action button. So, and also let me try and look at practical designs to see how some cards have been designed. So okay.
Excuse me, please, what is your name? So, like, when we're done with the design, who do we tag it to?
Oh, okay. Just target to Abdul Sabul. So I think let me just check my numbers. Let me All right, let me just drop my name so everyone can see that. All right, so just tag me on Slack. All right, so I'll move to the next one, which is input design. I mean, also known as form design. So basically, what are forms designs? Hello, can everyone still hear me? Sorry, I think something is wrong
Yeah,
with
yeah,
my
yeah, we can hear you.
thing.
Yes. Yes.
So the next one is okay. Before moving to the form design, do everyone have any question about cards design? Any? It might be addition. It might be question. It might be anything. Do you have any other thing to say about card design? Because the basic principle design is you must have the image of the object you are trying to talk about. Some card design doesn't actually have images. Some, but the most important thing is you must have the header and the subtext and call to action. And using your design principle, which is hierarchy, you know the header is always bigger than the subtext, and also you have the call to action. So that's pretty much about card design. Do you have any question on addition before I move to form designs?
Hello. Is there
Yeah.
like any do's and don'ts one doesn't like do when they're like designing cards, like particular principles of UI that you have to follow when you're designing cards?
Okay, all right. So I think from the let me just pick some of the few things from one of the article I read recently. All right. So the first thing is we're trying to design UI. I mean UI cards. The most important thing is you must use relevant image, which is number one. The image as must be clear enough. That's the most important thing when trying to design UI cards. The image must be clear enough. So looking at uh Airbnb, if you check their images, it's very, very clear and neat, because these are the things the users will have to see, because you're actually designing from set of people. So that's the first thing. We're trying to design UI cards. The next thing is add visual hierarchy. I think I mentioned that earlier. Using your design principle hierarchy, we know that okay, when trying to design, you can see this as an example. You can't even pick the difference between the header and the subtext. So you see, you must have uh the header must be bigger and bold enough for the users to be able to get the attention of what you are talking about there, and also the subtext. So the next thing is you limit your content. Designing cards doesn't require putting a long content. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, all right, okay. So while designing UI cards, it doesn't require putting long content. The most important thing, the main purpose of designing cards is must be able to the users must be able to get what you are saying looking at that card enough. So for example, let's go back to what is it called? Airbnb. You can see you already have the name of the maybe of the location, how far it is, and the price. So it is when you are interested, you'll have to view more to see more details or rating and some other few things people are saying about that particular apartment. So basically, UI cards must be direct and very simple to get. Immediately the user sees it at the beginning. So that's another thing. And again, avoid embedded links. So when trying to design uh UI cards, the most important thing is, like I said earlier, the image, your text, and mostly we have type of text. We have the header and the subtext, and also we have call to action. trying to embed links inside cards is not good enough. So it also direct the users to another. For example, now let's say, let's use this as an example now. So American superhero, this is a link directing the users to another section, not the card section. So basically, embedded, trying to impute links inside the cards, it's not good enough. So the next thing is different call to actions. Everything still boils down to your design principle. We have the hierarchy that I mentioned that earlier. Now, when designing button, if you have two buttons, you must be able to have the primary and the secondary. And also, if it is 3D, you must have the secondary, primary, and tertiary. So basically, when designing cards also, you must have the primary action and also secondary action. For example, here, the primary action is the buy, while the secondary action is more. So another thing is resist line for grouping. So when trying to design cards, you can see looking at this design visually, it is not even good enough. Trying to add lines to separate it. That's one of the reasons why the visual hierarchy is important here. So looking at this second one here, that shows that okay, the Black Widow, and that's the subtext, and we have the call to action. So these are common things that you must have when trying to design UI cards. I don't know if I've been able to answer that. If you have any other question.
Yes, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So can I move on to the next one?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so the next one is designing input feeds. So, right, so let me just. So what are input feeds? Can anyone try? What are input feeds? Very direct, and we use it almost every day. What are input feeds? Or forms design or form?
Where users put in information that it's needed.
Exactly. That's very direct because trying to design forms. So this I also found another article which explains almost everything about forms design or text field design. So basically text field allow users to enter text into a UI. So when you're trying to sign up, when you're trying to log into your product, any kind of product, you must have those things. The input field where you input your username, your password, your username, your email address. These things are called input field or forms because the basic action there is you just need to input the details that is required for you to perform that action. Basically, allow users to enter input field. So basically, what are the anatomy of forms designs or input field? You must have we have different type of input feeds. So the one that I love most is this kind of designs where you have number one the icons the icons relating to what you're talking about. For example, maybe okay, this is password. Now you're having padlock train. This is a password, and it's a private thing that needs to the only person that have access to it or to know that password is only you. And also we also have the text, and we also have the label, which is also the header, and we have the training icon, which is going to show maybe to make your input be feasible or not. So basically, can everyone still hear me? I don't know because I think my line is breaking here.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. So basically, I'm going to share this for this article also to give you can also go through it after the class. The most important thing is number one thing here is the container. We have the input field, we have the label text, we have the placeholder, we also have the help or validation text, we have the leading icon and trail icon. Looking at this, you can see the first one here is, which is the number one, which is the container itself, the input field, which is the input text, which is the text. Some text you see, enter your password, enter your email, enter your username, and the label text. We have the placeholder. So I'm just going to show you, I'm going to go to Figma now to show you the typical example of how to design this form. Another thing is we have different states of forms. We have the normal state, which is also known as the default state. We have the focus state. We also have the error or the correct state. So I'm just going to show you example using this platform called Mono. All right, so let me reload to. All right, so you can see I have not. Okay, let me just take this away. Okay, let me just use this. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, no problem. So looking at this page now, I'm to sign in for me to have access to the product. So this is the normal or default state. I have not input anything. So this is the normal state. Immediately I click on this section, it's going to be on the focus state, which is it is active. The next thing for me to do is to input something. So let me try and input something here. All right. So immediately I put my mouse over, it go back to the default state. And let me input my password. The same thing with the password. And this is the trailing icon. It's going to show the visibility of the password, or I can decide to show it or not decide to show it. So immediately I take my mouse over it, it's going to go back to uh, uh, to the default state. So let me take this away. You can see you are seeing red, showing that there's an error here, which is the error state. I think I mentioned three states now. We have the default state or the normal state, we have the focus state, and also we have the error state. So the error is maybe sometimes when you're trying to input something, they will tell you invalid email or incorrect password, and you are going to see colored around the action button or the input form. So basically, it's showing that something is wrong and you need to, you need to correct that. So let me just take this away. All right. So it's showing this and it's telling me email address is required. Let me try and just input something here. You can see immediately I input the wrong information. It's telling me that invalid email address. So while trying to design form, every form you design has its own interaction. So when trying to design uh the error states, mostly it is used, you use red around it when the email is right or the password is right. You have red about, you have green color around the form. So basically I'm going to show you how to design that, and let me go back to my Figma. So all right, okay, I think this should explain it. So like you can see, looking at this, we have the normal state, which is also known as the default state. We have the focus state, which is telling the user, or telling you designer that it is active. And we also have the warning state. Maybe mostly you only see the warning state maybe when you're trying to input your password, maybe your password is not strong enough or something is wrong. And also we have the error state, which is going to tell you that there's an error going on, maybe invalid password or invalid mail. And also we also have the correct state, which is going to have the green. Sometimes most people don't use this, but for example, now let me use this as an example. Immediately I log in, you can see I didn't get any there's no any interaction, maybe a green color around the form, but automatically I have access to the product. That shows that okay, the credentials are correct. So let me just go back to this section here. So the basic things you have to see when trying to design a form is you must have the label, because the label is very, very important. This is one of the most important thing, because let's assume you are trying to impute something and you you just have this rectangle here. You just have this. Let me go back. So you just have this. The next question you're going to ask yourself is, what should I input? You must have the label to know that maybe am I to input the password? Am I to input my username? Am I to input? I mean, you must know what you need to input. So that's why the label is very, very important. And also, you must have the container. So let me just show you a typical way of how personally design my my forms. So I think let me just show you from a project. All right, so let me just use this project as an example. You can see the only thing I designed here is only what's it called, the default state. So we can have, you see, we have the label, we have the container, and we have the icon. And the same thing with this, we have the label, we have the container, we have the icon. The same thing with the password, we have the label, we have the container, and we have the icon. So basically, the typical example of how you design a form, this is it. So when the user start interacting with it, we have different states. Like I mentioned earlier, we have the warning state, we have the error state, we have the we also have the normal state. The normal state, also known as the default state. We have the error state, we have the warning state, and we also have the success state. So basically, these are the common state we have when trying to design a form. So I don't know if you have any question about form designs or you have any addition to it. So basically, yeah, you can. Let me just drop. I think this article. Let me drop it here. Yeah, can everyone still hear me?
Yeah, please can you design one for us?
Oh, okay, okay. I will do that. Okay, no problem. So, all right,
Sorry, I have a question.
all right, Karen, go on.
Okay, there was a time I was playing with a sign up form
All right,
and I created an email input. And when I go to the password, after I created the first password input, then I created another one that says confirm password. And the
okay,
first password input has this icon showing the visibility of the password. So I showed it to a friend. I think the person said there is no need for me to create a confirmed password since I have an icon showing the visibility in the first password icon. So I want you to share light on this.
all right, no problem. So the thing is, it depends on uh the designer or the kind of product they are building. So some products you see confirm password, some products you will not see confirm password. So for me, I think it depends on the designer designing the product, and it depends on the company what they're trying to achieve with the confirm password. So you can actually have it in your product, you can decide not to have it. So most of the product I design, what I do is I don't have them. So what I just do is, as far as I have this has actually given me clear that okay, if the password is not correct, you can actually click on the trail action to make sure that okay, what is wrong, to confirm that am I actually inputting the right password. So for me, the answer for that would be it depends on the company and also the designer working on it. They might be trying to achieve something, trying to input the confirm password. There are some product I think I've used some product that are that confirm password. I don't know what they are trying to achieve, but I think it also depend on the if it depend on the company. Basically, I think that's what I would say. Yeah. Hello. Have I been able to answer that?
Yes, very clear, very clear. Thank you.
All right. So
Hello, hello.
yeah.
Good afternoon.
Good
Sorry, I
afternoon.
don't know if I'm taking you guys back, but please, maybe not, maybe after the class, can you go back to the form again? I didn't really see what you did, so I'm quite confused. the auto layout and everything, like how you made the form. So, because I don't think I wasn't able to see your screen then. So I don't know if you can go back to the form creation.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, I think I dropped the Figma link. You can actually you have access to this. Can check and yeah, you can check and look at.
No, sorry, not form. I don't mean form. I mean card. The card.
Okay, okay.
Yes, the first one.
Yeah.
Yes, I wasn't. I don't think I was in the class then. So I
Oh,
just want to. See, I know that you said we should all create one and send to you, but I don't know what else to do.
all right,
Something.
no problem. So I'm just going to go back a little bit. So for
Thank you.
me, all right, no problem. So I don't know. I mean, this process depend on the designer. So for me, one of the easiest way to design a card is the first thing is you can draw your frame. It might be of any size, any size. So I just try to work on the spacing, and the next thing I do is I click on auto layout to make sure that everything is responsive enough. So what I just need to do is, okay, what's the distance that I want to get the padding? I can give it, I can give it 14 or 16. Let's use 8. Okay, let's use 8 as an example. 8. So okay, 8 here. And also what will be the spacing between each element in the design can also be 8. So let me just give it 8. So the next thing I'm going to do is draw my rectangle. You can see for every component I'm designing is actually responsive enough for me to, okay, let's say I'm trying to adjust anything here. The frame is adjusting with the component I'm trying to do or trying to design. So the normal, maybe for other people, their procedure would be um draw the rectangle first and try to draw the frame. Okay, let me just do this. Try to draw the frame and start adjusting it. I mean, this is going to take the whole day. The best way, one of the best way is just create your frame, add your auto layout, and try to adjust everything.
Hmm?
So you can see it's, please, can you please mute your mic if
Okay. All right.
all right,
Sorry.
no problem.
Um.
So all right, that's for this. So let's say I want to add header, my header to the design. So let me just add my header to the, let's take this. So then adding my header.
Sorry. One question. Just one question, please.
Okay.
When you created your form, right? Did you add your rectangle before the auto layout, or the auto layout was before the rectangle?
Let me go back a little bit. So I'm
Yeah.
just going to explain again. Click on your frame, F,
Okay.
frame. The next thing is add auto layout, Shift A, or come here and add this, Shift A. So then add any of your component to the design. So let me just add this. Then from here, I can actually make adjustments to my padding. Maybe it's 14 or 16. Let me even try and use 16 this time. Okay, let me use 12. Can use 12. You can see 12. And what will be the distance between each element in the card? So let's say, let me use 8. Do you get that? Hello?
I can hear you. I can hear me. Probably I'll go back again. I'm not getting it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
All
I'm not
right.
getting it. Like it's like did you, is it two frames or one frame and one rectangle? I'm confused. Like you created the frame first. Did you add another frame, or is it rectangle? Like, I'm seeing two
Yeah,
frame here.
I added another frame. So I'm going to do it again one more time. The
Okay.
frame, first frame, which is going to be like the container for the, I mean, let me just bring this here. the first frame, which is going to be the container for all components or elements in the design, in the card design. So the next thing is add auto layout, which is Shift A, or
Okay.
click on this button. So Shift A and add, might be rectangle, but I love using frame.
Okay.
So then add frame to this. You can see
Mm-hmm.
immediately added the frame, it's not showing, maybe because it is not yet filled and I did not add any fill. So what I just need to do is add fill, then
Mm-hmm.
color is white. So I just need to bring up the gray color.
Did you just draw something on top of that rectangle? Because it was white. Did you just draw
Yes.
another rectangle on top of the
No, no,
rectangle?
no, 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 no. I just changed the color. So it's just the color.
Huh?
You can see. Yeah, just the color.
Okay, so it frames inside this frame, right?
Yes, exactly.
So there are two rectangles. There's one behind and one in front.
Yes.
Great.
So the one behind is standing as the container for all elements or components in the design, in the card design. Do you get that?
Great. Go ahead.
All right. So the thing is, I don't want to slow everyone down. I will still come back to this. John, let me just finish up with this
Okay,
form
thank
design.
you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So let me go back to this project. So you can see this is this sign up for this project. So basically the store type, we create an online store, input your email and a password. And also you can see I now design different states for the design. All right, so you can see this is the default state, the header, the icon. I love using icon just to make sure that users are able to get exactly what I'm trying to say here. And also the container. So this is the default state. So this is the error state when there's an issue, and also this is the active state. You can see, looking at this, we have different type of state now. Do you get, can everyone still hear me, and do you get what I'm saying here?
Yes.
All right, so
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm just going to design. So one of my favorite form is this. So I'm just going to bring it out. Let me just bring this out.
All right. Oh, okay, sir. Excuse me. Before you continue, I have a
Alright,
question.
no problem. Yeah,
Hello, sir.
please.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly. Please ask.
Yes. You Okay. When during this process of teaching us forms, you've already explained to us the different states. We have
Yeah.
the normal state, error state, and the successful state. So
Yes.
I want to ask that when probably the person already imputed their password, their email and password, and they
Okay.
already know it's successful, is there a need to actually design a pop-up screen that says that this thing is successful? Like, is it actually necessary or important to actually design a kind of pop-up like that to let them know that they have successfully logged in into their account? I don't know if you get it.
All right. So I get what you're asking. So let me use this put as an example. I'm just going to use some common photo here. So just sign in again. Oh, okay, I think I'm in. Let me just. All right. So let me use this as an example now. So let me just sign in. Let me input my details. Immediately I click on sign in, I did not get any pop-up or any model telling me that I have successfully logged in. Automatically it's bringing me to the product. So, but I feel the better UX should be let the user get to the product. Except there are some product that will require you having a model to let them know that they have actually successfully create an account or logged in. So maybe for example, maybe they still have some setup that they still have to work on. Okay, I think I can't remember. Let me check up some common product that I know. Let's check. Quick. Okay, let's check quick cell. All right, let me log in. I think I already have an account here. So I would like to make it practical to see how real product actually works and how they create their input fields. Sorry, my network is kind of okay. So yeah, exactly. I think I've been able to get what I'm looking for. Let me try and log in. You can see that I did not get any notification, but it gave me access to the product directly. Some products, they would actually let you know that you've actually successfully logged in or created an account using this method. So this, let me go back to this. Let me close this. Let me log in. Oh, I think. Let me log in. Oh, okay, let me log out here. All right, can you see this model showing at the top? Can anyone see this model showing at the top? This red
Yes,
model.
yes, the bread and
There are some designs that immediately you log in, you are going to get something like this. It's just going to come once and leave. It's going to show you that, okay, you've successfully created an account, you've successfully logged in. So it's not necessarily a big model showing in front of the screen, because immediately you create an account when using a product, you would actually get a mail. Some products. So let me create an account using, oh, all right. So let me, can anyone notice everything that is working here? You can see we have the default state. Immediately I click on this, would have the active state or focus state. So let me just impute. Immediately there is something that is not working fine with the password, I will get a notification password is required, getting an error. So let me just do this. All right, so agree. You can see sign up was successful. I mean, do you get that?
Mm,
Do you get that?
yeah,
So
yes, sir.
I mean, there's some product that will allow, I mean, that will give you that
Yes.
information that you've successfully done this or login, but mostly this is actually common when you're trying to create a new account. So uh let me try and check my mail, because
so is it
automatically,
like advisable to have it every single time, like for each product when
yeah,
there
for
are new sign-ups?
um,
Is it not
for
advisable to have it?
when creating an account, it is advisable to have it, but when logging in, I feel immediately I log in and I have access to the product, I don't need to get a model. Maybe I have successfully me having access to the product, I've shown that I have successfully logged in. Do you get?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's it. I don't know if I've been able to answer that.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
sir.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So, let's go back to this. Let me try and design a form.
Oh,
All right, so I'm just going to design a new form now using the old form anatomy. So the first thing is, for me, I use, instead of rectangle, I use frame. a lot. Okay, let me just use this as the base. I can just create a frame around this icon using auto layout, which is Shift A. And what should be the distance? I'm going to set up the property. So what should be the distance of 8? I can also give this 8. Then I can now stretch this, because looking at this auto layout, you can see it's at the left alignment. So if it's at the center, the product will be at the center. I mean, the icon will be at the center. Since I want it to be at the left, I'm just going to put it at the left. So then I want it to be at the left. Then I can now adjust this. All what I'm using here is auto layout, so I just need to add a few. Then add this color. Let me just bring about this color. So then I can now add my radius, which is 8. You can see, then I think the distance between the icon is too big. So all this that I'm saying is depending on what you are designing for, and there are some forms you see them that are very big, there are some forms that will be very small, so it depends on what you are designing for. So I can just give this distance of 4. Oh, 4, and this also 4. You can see, then I can now add my header. So basically this is my header. Then using auto layout and also giving it distance of 4, you can see you design a simple form. The same thing, maybe you want email, you want password. All right, so let's say I want to put everything in a container. Shift A, I can add Shift A, then give this stance of, I mean, for me, like I said earlier, I don't know, maybe you guys have, I mean, they've actually explained spacing using 2px, 4px, 8px, but for me, I love using 4px. So what I mean by 4px is I'll be using multiple of 4 in maybe the text I use, spacing, just for me to have consistency in my design. So I can just give this 8. Then since I'm using auto layout, I can center this and give it pattern of, okay, let me just use this method. All right, of 20. Then add auto layout, add container to it. So you can see you've actually designed a simple input field. Then you can now decide, okay, let me add call to action to it. Let me take this away. Then you can change the color of this to this. Okay, I need to add my text. So my text has to be centered. Let me just copy what's there and paste it here. So you've actually designed a simple input field. So the same method you have to design for different states when trying to design a product. So you must have the default state, you must have the focus state, you must have the error state, and also the successful state. So basically that's how.
Please,
Do you have any
can you go
questions
a
or
bit slower? Yes, sir.
oh,
I
all
think
right,
you're fast. Please, can you go a bit slower, please?
no problem. So
Sorry, I have a
what should
question.
all right.
Okay, I wanted to ask, is it compulsory to always use the auto layers, or it's just needed because it makes things easier?
Yeah, it's easier. You can see,
Okay.
let's say for example now I want to add distance.
But I
Let's say I want
noticed
to add,
you didn't use the org.
yeah, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, so let me use this as an example now. Let's say, okay, let me just remove the auto layout and try and use the normal method of designing. So, okay. Okay, let me just show you this. So you can see, for example, now, let's assume that, okay, while designing, I used, let me use 6 here, 6. So this has auto layout, this doesn't have auto layout. So let's assume that I want to, okay, I remember that I was using 4px instead of 3px. Now this is 6, so I'm not supposed to have 6. The distance between each form should be 8. Immediately I add 8. You can see it's going to adjust automatically without even stressing myself. Let me use this method now. Let's say you can see there's no auto layout here. There's no auto layout here. And I want to add distance to this. Let me say I want to add distance of 12 to this. Let's say 12. You can see that this container is not adjusting with the form. Now I'll be having, let's say I'll be having 20 here and I'll be having 8 here. Look at this. Everything is equal. And let's say I want to make adjustments to this. Let's say, oh, 20 is too big. Let me reduce it to 12 or 16. You can see that everything is adjusting automatically. Do you get that? But for
Yeah.
this, it's not going to adjust. There's no auto layout. So I have to start making manual adjustments by trying to, okay, what's the distance between this and this? Then I have to start using my arrow to bring it down. The same thing with this. Oh, this is not equal, or I have to start doing it this way. Okay, maybe trying to do some distribute alignments. So you can see it's very stressful, and because while designing, you have to be very fast enough to do some simple things. That's why we have auto layouts.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Can I continue?
Yes, you can.
All right. So the next thing would be responsive table design and responsiveness. So the most important thing here is making use of auto layout. So I'm just going to explain more how to use auto layout, because let's say, for example, now I want to make adjustments to this table. All right, so I want to make adjustments to this table. To avoid stress, the most important thing is at the beginning I need to make use of auto layout. And also, we're trying to design, maybe you are designing a website, you are designing something, you have to think of responsiveness. For example, now there's some design that you are going to have for desktop only, not mobile, but there's some design you'll have for both desktop and both desktop and mobile. Example, so for example, now let me expect this. You can see they actually designed for mobile to make sure that everything is scalable, so people with mobile phone can actually use it. When you're on your system, you can also use it. Most products nowadays are I mean, they are responsive enough. So the same thing with, that's exactly what I'm trying to explain here. So let's use this table as an example now. You can see immediately I adjust this table, everything is scaling. Everything is scaling. And it is very, very important when designing, you have to think of responsiveness. You have to think of it, because you have to consider, because yes, as a UI designer, you are not designing just to make your UI beautiful, because there are a lot of people that are going to interact with your product. You can't say, uh, yeah, there are some products that are actually specifically for desktop, but when you are designing products, you have to think about uh how this product is going to scale and how people are going to use it. Think about your users. Okay, let's assume that Instagram is only on desktop. Not everyone will have access to Instagram. That means before you can have access to Instagram, you'll have to get a system or get a computer for you to be able to use Instagram. So you can use Instagram on your phone. You can use Instagram on your laptop, desktop, anywhere. So it is responsive enough. So the same feeling you are going to have using desktop, you have the same feeling using mobile. So the only thing that will be different there is the view. You have larger screen when using desktop. So that's one of the things I would like to touch here. So basically I'm just going to put you through on how to design for responsiveness. I'm just going to give you simple trick. So you might be saying this, you might be like, oh, what am I going to do to make my design like this? So I'm just going to give you a simple trick. Let me just draw some rectangle. Draw rectangle A cocoa. Let me give you different color. So let's say let's ignore this. This is just, yeah. Let's look at, all right. So okay, let me put this in a frame. So now this is each rectangle is now in a frame. Let's now assume, okay, let's assume this is for desktop now. I need to make adjustment to this frame, maybe to design for larger screen, maybe for a big screen or smaller screen. So you can see immediately I start adjusting this. You can see it's only the frame that is adjusting. The component inside the frame is not is not moving, is not changing anything. Why? So that is when responsiveness comes in. So I'm just going to show you a simple trick. The first thing you need to do is you need to make sure that the frame itself is hugging the content. That's the first thing. So you can see you still have the same thing, it's not adjusting. Then we'll have to check each property of every element inside the frame. So you can see we have fixed first. So the next thing you need to do is it has to fill with the container. So anytime you are adjusting anything inside the container, the components or elements in the frame, they are going to change. So let me just put this again. Let me just change this to fixed and also change this to fill. So let's check the first image or the first color. You can see that it's adjusting with the frame, but others are not adjusting. Can everyone still hear me? And do you get what I'm trying
Yes,
to
yes.
explain here?
Yeah, we understand.
Yes, we can.
All right. So the next thing is you just have to do the same thing for this. You have to fill with the container. Fill with the container. I mean, the normal English is fixed. That means you can't increase the height. You can't change the width. So basically, you just have to change everything here by adding fill. You have to fill with the container. Fill with the container. So the next thing here is I can adjust this. You can see now, let's say this is for mobile. Let's say I design for mobile. This is the size for mobile, and these are the contents in mobile. Then, okay, let me just bring out some frame here to give us, okay, let me bring this size. Let me bring for mobile. Let's use, okay, tablet, let's use iPad mini. Let's bring out let me bring element for phone, frame, phone. Okay, let's use iPhone 13 mini. So, all right. So, what's the size for iPhone 13 mini? So, we have 375. We can add the same thing here, 375. You can see that everything is aligning with the frame. Okay, alright, let's add this to the, then we add this. Okay, let's say that's for mobile. Then let's add for iPad 744. Alright. Then let's have this for desktop and alright. You can see that we've been able to design using the same method. So what I just explained here is applicable to what you are seeing here. So I'm just going to bring each component out to see exactly what I'm trying to explain here. You can see, let me just bring this out. Can you just see my screen clearly?
Yes, you can see.
All right, so you can see immediately I adjust this. Immediately I adjust, you can see that everything is, the responsiveness is working. You can adjust, maybe I can adjust for mobile, I can adjust, make it larger, longer. So let me just show you the simple trick here is, let me just remove the component here because it's under component. You can see, let me just bring out this touch. You can see that every component here is filled with this container, is filled with this. Let me bring this out. Let me just bring everything out and realign them again. All right, so let me just bring them back. So let's inspect each component. You can look at this now. We have this, and it is filled with the container here. We also have this filled with container. Okay, this should be fixed. Something is wrong here. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, detach. Sorry, I'm coming. I need to check what's going on here. Fill container. Something is wrong here. Fill container. So let me try and align everything to see what will be the outcome since it is fixed. So I added auto layout to give me the frame, and also what will be the distance. Let me just give distance of, let me just adjust the distance. Give it a meaningful distance. Let me just give it 4 or 8. Let me try and extend this. You can see that these things, they are not extending with, they are not aligning with the frame. I can actually work with responsiveness here. So what I just need to do is I need to inspect each component and to see what's their current state with this frame. So let me just check this. This is fixed. I think, yeah, I can change it now. Fill container, fill container, fill container, fill container. So the simple example here is every component you have inside a frame must be filled with that container. So when the container is expanding or maybe you are designing for mobile, you are designing for desktop, you are designing for tablet, immediately you start adjusting all those things. Each component in that design will start adjusting automatically. But if it is fixed, automatically you are telling that this component, oh, you can't change it, oh, you can't change the height, you can't change the width, it's going to be fixed. So now what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to change them to fill, change them to fill, change them to fill. All right, let's see what will happen here. You can see now that everything is now changed with the form. So everything you are seeing here follow the same procedure. I don't know if anyone can hear me and if you get what I'm saying here.
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
I hear you.
All right. So the simple trick for
Just I have
responsiveness
a
is,
question, sir.
all right, I'm coming. Okay, I would answer that now. So the simple trick for auto layout is make sure that you have a container. Now, for example, now let me bring this out. This is the dashboard. This is the container for the dashboard. The whole thing here is the frame. And I need to make sure that every component is filled with the container so that anytime I'm adjusting them, I can actually change them. So let me check this. Let me bring each component out. All right.
Every single component will have filled with container. Every single one of them.
Yeah, every single one of them would have a container. So for example, now we can see that we have different frame inside, the whole container. For example, now we have the table. Let me just remove all this. We have this. We have this, which is the header. All right. So that's why auto layout is very, very important when trying to design. In all design in general, auto layout is very, very important because it helps you to adjust some things easily. Let's assume that, okay, let me look at this table now. Let's assume that there is no auto layout to this and I need to make adjustments. You can see the distance between this thing is 0. There's no any distance. But I feel like, okay, let me add more spacing to this table. Let me add spacing to this table. I can decide, okay, let me just add 50. Let me add 120. Let me add any type of distance to this. You can see it's going to help me to, the design will be very flexible and it will be very easy compared to, let me just take this away. And let me remove auto layout. And let me just do this way. Let me add container to this. Let me add 16 or true. 16 or true. And let me add frame. Let me add frame. So let me do the same thing to this. This, I'm not adding auto layout to this. I just want to add frame. All right. So I'm not going to add auto layout to this. I just want to add frame. Trying to design the normal way. And let me just align it. So the next thing I'm going to start doing here is, and I want to give you distance of maybe 24 or true, 24 or true. What I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to start trying to make adjustments to make sure that I have that 24. This is going to take a whole lot of time, a whole lot of time. What I will just do is with auto layout, what I just need to do is add the frame, and you can see here is, okay, I want to give a distance of or all frame 24. What I just need to do is, a simple trick here is you just need to click on shift, maybe to all. I want to add padding to everything. I just need to click shift option this and also click on 24. Automatically I'm going to have 24 ultra. You can see 24, 24. Maybe I just want to add 16 to the top, 16 to the bottom. What I just need to do is click on shift, only shift, then click on this and 16. Boom. You can see.
Wow, this looks great, but I think a lot of us are confused.
Oh, shit. All right. So I'm just going to explain that now. I'm going to explain that. Let me check the chat section. Oh, okay, I'm coming. So, but can do you guys understand the concept of responsiveness using this method?
Yeah, I understand.
Yes,
I
the
mean,
field
I think using
container,
this
leave
method.
it fixed. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
that
Okay.
class.
exactly,
So,
exactly.
hello.
Hello? Yeah, can hear
Okay.
you.
Yeah. Good evening, sir, or good
Good
afternoon,
evening.
sir. Okay.
Afternoon.
The question. Can you hear me?
I can hear you
Hello.
clearly.
Okay. The
Yeah, I
question.
can hear you.
Okay, thank you. The question I wanted to ask, it seems you've already asked because when you were talking about responsiveness, I watched before today, I watched some videos online. There was a
Okay.
way they designed using responsiveness. There's a technique they use, but few seconds ago, you just said that this is another method. Because while you were designing, why you kept three colors in a frame, previously on the YouTube videos, they made me to understand that I was meant to touch the colors. Then at the right panel of the Figma, I will see something like a box. Then I will not be choosing. Do I want to do top left or top right? Due to the fact that responsiveness means that you are either designing for a phone or for a desktop or something that is large, or you can stretch the frame. I don't know if you
Mhm.
actually understand what I'm saying, sir.
Get what you're saying?
Sir?
Yeah, I said I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Okay, now, in summary, the method you use now, saying that you are converting from fixed container to field container, is it the second method? Are you trying to tell me that I'm lost already?
Okay. Let me explain. Let me explain again. Using the same method. Let me explain
Okay.
again. All right. So I have, okay, let me just bring all this rectangle out here.
Please, I have a question as well. Maybe when you're done.
All right, no problem.
Thank you.
Let me just give them distance of 0. Now, all these are just rectangle. So when you are designing, you're actually designing for a particular size. That means for every component you are designing is either for mobile, desktop, or tablet. Do you get me?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do, sir.
All right. So now let me just try and make this mobile. Okay, let me just bring this mobile out and try to, or let me do this way, the normal traditional way. I have my frame, mobile, iPhone 13. So this is my container one. I mean, let's assume this is object one or element one, two. I just want to have 4. Make sure they are aligned and also this way and this way. So let me give them different color. As per. All right. So this is for mobile. Then this is mobile now. This same component that I have in mobile, I want to have the same thing on desktop. The normal traditional way is I will have to bring up a frame, design for desktop. What's the size of the desktop you want to use? Okay, let's say I want to use this. I will have to copy the same component here, copy, paste here, and try to make adjustments to this, put it this way. just for me to be able to have that content in larger screen. To save time, that is why responsiveness is very, very important. So that's the process. I mean, we are using rectangle now because if you are designing for, let's assume that I'm designing this for mobile now. That means I'll have to remove every component, trying to make adjustments to it, just to make sure that it has to fit for mobile. I'm going to spend a whole lot of time trying to make that adjustment. So using this method, let's assume I want to design for desktop now. Why can't I just drag this? Or what's the size of this? Okay, 140. Okay, let me just duplicate this. Let me just copy this, and what's the height of this one? So you can see, I'm just trying to drag all these things just for me to be able to have desktop view. You can see the content, I mean, each component or each element are still the same thing. They are not changing. I've not been able to design for mobile this way. So what I'm now trying to say is, let me bring this here. Now, I can actually pick every component here. Click on auto layout. Different way, I can actually click on auto layout, or there are some people that would, I mean, there are some tutorial that will tell you that you need to make use of constraints. So what I need to do here is I need to pick each component here. This is going to be complicated kind of, but I'm just going to show you. I'll pick each component. You can see we have the constraint, we have the left, the top. So what they are saying here is this component is at the left and also is also at the top. Let me pick this component. The same thing with this, the same thing with this, the same thing with this. So if I drag this now, hold on. Hold on. Now, if I drag this, I'm supposed to get the responsiveness using that method. But for me, one of the fastest way or the easiest way not to stress yourself and to use responsiveness is use auto layout. So what I'm just going to do now is just pick every component, add auto layout. You can see I already have auto layout to my design. The same thing, I still can work on the responsiveness with this. What I just need to do is I need to click on each component. You can see it is fixed, and when something is fixed, you can't add to it, you can't remove, and it's actually fixed inside this container. So what I just need to do is let me just duplicate this. I'll just click on each component. You can see this color purple, then click on fill container, click on fill container, click on fill container. You can also click on fill container here. Fill. You can see we have the width. This one is for the width, while this one is also for the, this one is for the horizontal, while this one is for the vertical. Click on this, click on fill, and also I can also click on fill container. Let me now add the same size for this desktop. Let me click on this. Let me add this. You can see that automatically I've been able to get that size without even doing extra work. Do you get what I'm saying now? Different,
Yes,
different, yeah. You might watch tutorial video, they might have different method, but the end goal is to achieve the same thing. So I prefer using auto layout. There are some people that might be very good at using constraints, but auto layout is very flexible for me. So let's say I want to add more distance to add distance between each component. I'll be able to do that, and everyone will still be maintaining the same frame. That's why I use auto layout. Do you get that?
I do, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
All right. So
see.
that's
Yeah, I get
so you
that.
can
So
see
please,
the more I
can I ask a
drag.
question?
Oh, all right. Yeah. Continue.
Okay, so previously you're talking about okay, I get this fill container, but you talked about fix after filling container. Is there a place you click on fixed or you just fill container? because I yet heard someone talking about the fixed container. So I'm quite
Okay.
confused. Like, if you're making a responsive design, is it just few container you use, or you have to click on fix some?
So when it depends on what you are designing, if you want that thing to be fixed at that moment, for example, now let's say, let me just take this away and let me just go back. Let me take this away using the same method. For example, now I want this purple to be fixed. I want that same size for desktop. I want it to be fixed, but I want others to change. I can now click on, you can see this is already fixed. I mean, sometimes it's always the default, sometimes. Then I can now click on other components, make it fill to expand or to, yeah, to expand with the size I want to give my container. I can also click on this, give it filled container, click on this and give it fill container. You can see me adding fill container, I'm only adding it to the horizontal. So let me show you. You can see that the purple is not expanding. It's already fixed. So let me add to the vertical. But what's going on here? You can see that it's not adding to the horizontal or to the vertical. So what I just need to do is, let me go back. I just need to add the same thing because why is it not adding? Because they are fixed. So I need to add the same thing if I want it to be, if I want it to also work well with the frame. So what I just need to do is add fill container, the same thing here, add fill container, the same thing here, add fill container. So immediately I'm adding to the vertical, it's also adding, you can see. But if you notice, I did not add anything to this. It is still fixed. Do you get what I'm saying here now?
Yeah, I
All
get
right.
what
So
you're
this,
saying.
what is it?
I understand. So sorry, when you're adding the free container, there are two the horizontal and vertical. You do it for both. Like when you're adding the free container to make a responsive design, do you change the horizontal and vertical as well, or just horizontal?
That's why, like I said earlier, it depends on, let's say the kind of responsiveness you want to have is going to be vertical. Maybe you just want it to be vertical, or sorry, you just want it to be horizontal. You can add it to the horizontal. You can see I'm adding to the horizontal. Okay, let me just go back a little bit. So you see, this is the horizontal. Let me just show you. This is the horizontal. Okay, let me take this away. Let me click on this container and add fixed to the height, which is the vertical for every component here. No, fixed. Let me add fixed. All right. You can see that the yellow and gray, they are fixed. Let me click on it. They are fixed. The vertical resizing, they are fixed. So they are not adjusting at all with the container. Maybe if I want to do that, I would have to be doing it manually, that is not responsiveness. I don't know if you have been able to answer that question. Sometimes you can add it to both. Sometimes you can just add it to the horizontal. Sometimes you can just add it to the vertical, just for it to be responsive with the frame you are designing with. Do you get what I'm saying?
So
Yeah,
basically, all
and
you're working with
so
is the four things inside the main white rectangle. That's the only thing you're working with because they are the ones that need to
Yes.
be responsive to the white rectangle.
Exactly. Because for every design you are working on, okay, let me show you. Okay, for every design you are working on, let's say this is mobile. You're actually working with a frame. So we have the mobile screen. We have, okay, let me show you. We have the desktop screen. We have the desktop screen. We have we have the mobile. That's the most common one. We have the mobile. So okay, let me see, maybe I can show you typical example of what I'm talking about live. So let me check, maybe added some responsiveness to this. No, I think the responsiveness was not okay. So I'm trying to show you typical example of what I'm talking about. Okay, this should have. All right.
Sorry, one
So,
question. One
okay,
question.
this typical example kind of, yeah.
So if you're designing for, like, let's say, a website that you want to be accessible on the tab and a desktop on the phone as well, it's better
Okay.
to just make the horizontal and vertical fill container, right? Since it's like a three different screens you're designing for,
Yes, you have to fill the container you are designing for. So when
like
you are
horizontal and
expanding,
vertically at the same time, not just horizontal,
yes,
right?
yeah,
Okay.
yes. So let me use this as an example. This is a newsletter. So for example, this is a newsletter, and this is for mobile. And after designing for mobile, I was like, okay, we'll have to design for desktop also. The normal process is I'll have to start designing frame. I'll have to start designing for the big frame, trying to make sure the content is adjusting, everything is work. So it's going to take a lot of time. So the only thing here is immediately I drag this, trying to get, you can see everything is adjusting. Boom. I have my maybe tablet or desktop. If I want to have more size, maybe for desktop, boom, I'm done. Can you see the importance of responsiveness and why you should and the key to responsiveness is trying to make every component or adding auto layout to them. You can see without, I mean, it's not even up to 1 minute. I've been able to add design for different screens. So the same thing, I can still bring it back, try to get the same size. You can see that everything is adjusting. And if you check them, you can see it is filled with the frame. It is filled with the frame. So when I'm adding, it is filled with the frame. So this is the frame that I'm designing with. So it has to adjust with the frame. You have to just put it in there. You can see this is also filled with this frame. So let me just do this. You can see that it's adjusting, but I still try to maintain the same size here because this is the large frame for the design. So every content I'm going to change must be in that size. I know this might be a little bit tricky, but one of the best way and one of the things I try to tell people is no matter the YouTube you watch, especially for UI design, if you do not practice it, you won't get them. For me to be able to even understand these things to some extent, I mean, I watch a lot of tutorial videos and I practice. So let me just so as a UI designer, one of the best way to get better anytime, any day is when you see a design and you think you like that design, replicate them and using all these things that you know, like auto layouts, constraint, designing for responsiveness, doing all those things, designing form. You use that knowledge to design for everything you are trying to replicate. For example, now you might see a design that you like online. I'll be like, oh, just copy them. What exactly are they doing here? What can I do to make this design responsive enough? So let me just check. Maybe I can see some design that are very, oh, come on, there's a lot there. So, okay, let me just come here. Okay, yeah, okay. I think I have some designs on fonts. So you can see these are these are my designs, these are my practice design file. So as a designer, just create that section in Figma where you practice. you can see design different form. That's one of the ways you can get better. It's not even about just watching tutorial video alone, because they are just going to tell you what you need to get. But when you practice, you are going to explore different ways to do things. So while designing, there is no one way to design. There are some people, for me now, when designing the product, I love starting with desktop. There are some people, they are comfortable starting with mobile, then desktop. So it's just about practicing. So when you know your method, you'll be able to get better at it. So you can see this is just a section where I design. You can see these are forms. I just redesign them when I see the design. When I see a form, I design them. The same thing with button, and see how they are. Okay, I think you can see to practice auto layout. I think this was when I was practicing auto layout. I can't remember how this function. So this was when I was practicing component and auto layout to make sure that how it works. So you can see one of the best way is you practice, you make mistake, practice, practice, and practice. So I don't know if you have any question that I need to answer, because I think that's all from my end. And I think that's all. If you have any personal question, you can message me on Slack or message me on Twitter. So I'm just going to drop it Andrew there. You can message me on Twitter, then we can discuss maybe how to get better in design or any other information or any other thing about design. You can message me on Twitter or on Slack. So I'll be very available to answer that.
No, please, I
So
have
if
a
you have any,
question.
right, please go on.
Okay, it has to do with the input field. So there was a time
Okay.
I was examining in the past, and I remember you spoke to us about the different forms that show you when they make an error in the input field.
Yeah.
Let's say you understand, right? The
Okay.
one that shows that you wrote your email well, and then the
Yeah.
next form shows that it's not correct. So
Yeah.
concerning the password, because certain forms you have to show that the passwords are in those, is it dot 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 form, and then you also have to show that the password is seen. I don't know, like when I was watching the so-called tutorial video and practicing, I couldn't get the password to show in dot 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 form. Is that necessary? I don't know. I don't know if you like understand what I'm like talking about.
All right. So I'm just going to explain this using a live product. So let me check. Maybe I have any design trying to that I can use to talk about. All right. Let me use a live product. So let me use the other product. Let me know. Okay, let me use Okra. All right. So let me try and log in here. I think I still have the account. You can see immediately you input your password. It's showing dot 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 dot,
Yes,
which
this, yes.
means which means it is not visible. And the reason why they are adding that is you know your password. Let's assume you're trying to log into your bank, what is it called? Bank app. Yes, bank app. And you're outside and maybe someone is beside you. You know your password. You can easily input your password, and with these dots, I mean the person can actually know what you're actually imputing. But let's assume immediately I open this, I mean you can see my password and you'll be able to log in. So while designing, it is always good to add this. So for design, you just need to add this. Maybe this is a live product, so automatically the developer will know how to implement that. But you just have to give them a sign that okay, immediately I click on this, you can see it is active, and I can add. Immediately I'm adding, and looking at this thing here, which is called the trail action or the trail icon, trying to show maybe it is visible and non visible, visible and non visible.
The train
The,
icon.
the
What did you say? The train icon.
trailing icon. So I think from here, yeah, trailing icon. Yeah, you can see. I think I shared this article to
Okay.
give you
All
the
right.
whole. Yeah. So immediately I click on it, mostly you see it when trying to input your password. And the reason for that is maybe sometimes, let's assume that, okay, let me just impute something wrong. And in my mind, I feel, okay, I've actually imputed the right thing and click on login. It's going to tell me password or, you can see, password does not match, did not match.
Okay.
I was trying
So
to attempt.
how do
So
you
I have
how
to,
do you put those dots in your design? That's what I was like during the
so it's
designing
very,
process. That's what I wanted.
oh, okay. So it's very simple. Let me just bring this out. Okay, let me just bring this out here. Very simple. You can use just your circle and size should be 8. Simple. Let me just bring this here. Then let me just give it color black. Then control. So that's it.
Okay, you have to create it. The video I was
Yeah, you have
watching,
to
the
create.
video that I was watching, he gave me the impression that he did some kind of thing and then it appeared. That
No. You just have to. Then with,
okay.
I mean, you can now prototype it to be maybe to make this action button working. I mean, that's when you prototype it. I think you guys have not started working on prototyping. So
Sorry,
I
did you use auto layout for the circles just now?
yes,
Just
it
so
is auto layout. I mean, I
you
love
just
adding.
you designed two of them, then auto layout, then um okay. I sure you
Yeah,
did
just
two.
add auto layout. Yeah. So and the reason why I like to add auto layout to everything is because when I'm trying to make adjustment to the spacing, let's say I'm using for the distance and I want to use 8. It's very easy for me to add distance to them. Or I want to add 2 distance. So you can see to be very easy to adjust compared
So
to
you made the
let's
two
say
circles. So you made a circle, then you duplicated it and then made both of them put auto layout on both of them so that you could be able to like
yeah,
properly duplicate them and add the distance
click
or
on
change the
yeah,
distance if you want to. Okay.
yeah, and I click on Control D to duplicate, Control D, Control D, Control D. So then with Control D, you can add more. Control D, you can see Control D, Control D, Control D. Then you can still remove, just deleting. Have I answered that?
Yes, you have. Thank you.
Alright, you're welcome. So is there any other question that I need to answer?
So secondly, okay, I'm still on the form issue, okay. Did you use free container for the form? Or just the sorry guys, I keep calling it form. Cards.
Oh, okay, let me just go back to the cards.
Cards. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Hello?
can hear you clearly. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Did you use the full container option for the cards?
Alright, so, alright, I'm just going to start again. What I do
Okay,
first
thank you.
is I click on my frame. I mean, at this moment, I'm not specifying distance or any height or width. I'm just trying to create the spacing of every element in the design. So this is my first frame. And the next thing I'm going to do is click on auto layers, which is Shift A, or click on this Shift A. And I'm going to specify distance. Then I can say, okay, let me give this terms of 14 or okay, let me say 16 to this also, and also give this 8. I will now click on the rectangle or frame. I love using frame. Then click on, you can see immediately I'm clicking on it, is adjusting with the frame I'm trying to add, the new frame I'm trying to add. Can you see?
Yes.
All right, so this is it. It's not visible because you need to add the fill. Then I can change the color because color white is not visible enough. Then I need to add this. Boom. That's for that. The next thing is, let me add the text. So I can add my text. Boom. And don't forget, at the beginning, I've specified the distance between every element. So if you check, it will be 8. You can see, I added 8 for the distance between each element. Let's click on the frame again. You can see 8. Then from here, I can decide that, okay, I think 8 is too small. Let me add 14. Boom. I have 14 here. So you can see automatically. Then that's for the header. The next thing I need to add is I need to add the subtext. Boom. And everything is, you can see the distance between the subtext will also be 14. The next thing is, let me add the call to action. Boom. I'm adding the call to action, and the distance between the call to action is 14 also. So there's something again. All right. So I've been able to get the distance between each element, and here I can now start making adjustments to anything I want. Maybe the image is too big, I want to make it small. I want to make it big. And one other thing is, it's always good to add corner radius to your, I think I didn't mention that earlier, to add corner radius to your cards. So I can use 8 for my corner radius, 8. So you can see I've been able to design my card. Do you get that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So just practice. It's very, very easy and just very easy. So what you need to do first is try to practice auto layout. Try to understand every single thing about auto layout, because I think the most important thing here is most of the things I've been using is auto layout, and it might be kind of difficult. Just understand auto layout. I think there's tutorial video on auto layout, very direct, by Figma, so you can actually check that. In a simple term, they are going to explain how it works. So, and understand each component and how it works. So from there, you'll be able to understand, okay, this is what I should do next. This is what I should do next. So if you're able to get that, then you can now implement it to other things.
Okay,
Trust me,
okay.
immediately you get how to use auto layouts, you apply it to every single thing you design, because very easy. You can see I can add distance to this thing without even stressing myself. Let's say I can't, okay, you can't have something like this though, but let's say I just want to add distance of 16. I want to add distance of 20. Everything is just expanding within. I mean, I just make changes to everything very fast and very easy compared to designing in a normal way. Or let's say there is no auto layout. It will be very hard. Hello.
Yes,
So
I
it
can
will be
get
very
it.
hard for me. You can see, let's assume that I want to add distance to this now. Immediately I start adjusting it, you can see it's
It's
going out
going
of the
down. Yes.
so, and the normal traditional, you'll have to start trying to adjust. Okay, I think you'll have to
Okay.
start dragging it. Okay, what's the distance? I need to get the distance 42. What I need to get about. I mean, that's not the best way to design. So with auto layout, it's going to help you to just make adjustments to those things very fast, and boom, 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 you're done. The same thing with when trying to design form. So let's say I want to design a form. I can draw my rectangle. This is my rectangle. Let's assume I don't want to add any icons. I just want to add my header. Then I can, let me give it 16. So what I just need to do is add auto layout, shift A. It's at the center. What I just need to do is take it back to the left. I mean, so I have to be left aligned. Then I have my, like I say, I can now give it distance of what I want. So let's say this, we have distance of 10 and I want to give it 14. Boom. Okay, let me use the same thing and give it Okay, let me just put it this way. Now I want to have multiple input fields. Let me give this header 1, 2. I can also give this auto layout boom and give it distance of, let's say,
Hello, can you hear me? But I think your network is having issues. I don't know. Hello.
I just want to hear you.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh,
I
sorry.
didn't get this fun part at
Network
all. Your
was having
network's having
issues.
Sorry, your
issues.
network.
Oh,
Could you
sorry.
please go again? Please, thank you.
All right. Wow. Oh, sorry. All right. Sorry. Can you all hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Definitely.
So I think I'll have to start again, but no problem. Let me just. All right. So let me just start with this. Do you all understand how I designed this?
Yes.
All right. So let's assume, let's say I want to have multiple
Sorry,
forms.
could you start again from the beginning how you created this one? Sorry. I know I'm taking you
All
back.
right. No
Just one.
problem.
Thank you.
Oh. All right. So let me just start again.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So let me start again. Let's ignore this. Boom, boom, boom. Let's start from a blank screen. Okay. Canvas. So first thing I did here is I created my frame. This can be any size, but it's always good to have height of 48. I mean, there's size for it. This might look small, but because I think because of the canvas is big, it's very big. I think it's very small 3, so that's why this thing is very small here. So if you're actually designing on real Canva, I mean, real size, you should 48 is enough for you the height, or sometimes people use 52. I mean, depending on what you want. And let me add the header, which is header 1.
Sure.
Let me just use. Then the next thing I would do is I would add auto layout. Yeah. And the reason why I'm adding auto layout is for easy adjustments and also, let's say, responsiveness, because let's assume I'm designing for desktop, mobile, and tablet. Auto layouts will actually help me in terms of responsiveness. Let's say, for example, now you can see, let's say, when I started designing, I used this size of form, and I realized that the form is too small, and I need to give it a longer. I need to increase the width. So with auto layout, I mean, I can just drag this and boom, I have this. So I don't want to dwell into that also. So let me just continue with what I'm doing. I mean, do you all understand how I designed this now? So I want to add multiple forms. So what I just need to do is, what I do is I create a new one by clicking on Alt and Shift, and the Alt that I'm clicking on is just for you to duplicate, and Shift is for you to align it. So I'm going to click on Auto Layout, Shift A. Auto Layout simply, I mean, adding Auto Layout has actually helped me to put it in a container. Let me add. Let me.
Sorry, you added auto that again.
Yes.
Like after creating the first header, then you added auto that to both of them.
Yes, Auto Layouts. You can see that they are now together. You can see they are now together.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay. Now, so let me just add. Let me just add. Put container or add big container to it. So I can just give it a. Let me give color black. Now you can see that I need to give it a distance. As you can see, looking at here, the padding is 0, and I need to give it the distance. Let's say I want to give it 16. Okay, that will be 16. I can give this 16. This is for the vertical 16. You can see I'm having 16 top and bottom, and 16 left and right. Boom. Can you see? So another method, if instead of going through the process of adding for vertical and also adding for horizontal, you can actually can see this thing that is showing here. What you just need to do is click on Shift Alt. Shift Alt. If you're using Mac, you can click on Shift option. Immediately click on it, and you get this. And what this is going to do, you can see all padding, all paddings. So it's going to add paddings to everything at once instead of adding it one after the other here. So I will just add 16. Boom. Yes, I'm having this. Since I've added auto layouts, let's assume I want to add 2 more forms. Let's say this is for the first name, the last name, email, and password. So what I just need to do is just click on this, the last one, and click on Ctrl D. Boom, boom. That's all. Now let me try and use this with the responsiveness thing I explained earlier. Now let me try and drag this. You can see that it's not aligning. I mean, I'm not having longer forms. So what I just need to do here is looking at this now, it's at the center. I just need to put it at the left. So immediately I'm dragging this frame. Let me just show you what I'm trying to do here. Let me just put this here and put this contents, field container, field container, field container, and field container.
Okay, move your.
All right, so then field container. Then what's going on here? Yeah, something is wrong here.
I think the
Okay,
rectangle
okay,
inside is
fixed.
there.
Oh, yeah, it's fixed. That's why. Just saw it now. Yeah, the rectangle is fixed, so I need to put it back to a field container. Instead of let me just delete all this, and since this is fixed, okay, let me just do it this way. All right. I cannot get this. All right, you are. Tutor. Okay, yeah. So I think this should help me now. Something is showing here. Okay, this is fixed. So that's why, like I said earlier, I said you have to check every component to make sure that everything is at field container. Let me bring this. Let me delete this. Fixed field container. Shit. Okay. Okay, there's a component that is very fixed. There's a okay, what's going on? Yeah, oh wow. So what's going on now? So what I'm trying to show here is I think there's something wrong with that frame one. This is exactly what I'm trying to show because I'm supposed to get this responsiveness. Let's say I want to have a longer form. The more I drag, is adjusting with the frame. So I'm trying to check what's wrong here. This is a frame. Okay, yeah. Have you guys done component variant? Hello? Have you guys done components and variant?
Yes, we have.
Yes.
Yes.
Alright. I want to use something
Yes.
like that here. So it won't be like I'm doing magic here. Because I think the change, this is fixed and this is filled. There's something wrong here. Is not supposed to change. So I'll make use of components just to make sure that everything is working fine. Okay, let me just do this one. I'm coming, shift A. Alright. Components. Yo. Alright. Okay. Yo, yes. What's wrong?
You have to drag the component, the main component, drag it.
Oh, I think I didn't notice that has affected it. Yeah. Yeah, so making use of what's it called, component. This is exactly what I'm trying to achieve here. So the more I oh god, something okay. And another important of using auto layout is, for example, you can see here is I've actually dragged the container and I need to make this input field to align with this or to fix with this section. What I just need to do is click on this and it is fixed. Field container automatically is going to adjust to it. I know this is very complex, but with practice, you're going to understand it. Just start with the auto layout, the shift A. And if you wanted to expand with your container, just add field container. And if you want it to be stable, you add fixed width. And there's another one, all container. All container simply means the more you adjust, I mean, let me try and practice with your container. If the do you want to ask a question? Okay, all container. All content. The all content, I don't really use it, but I let me just try it out here. Okay, using this method, let me try and design a button. You notice anything? Immediately I added text. Let me just go back a little bit. You can see the size. It is 102. Immediately I add the text. It changes. What happened there? The text is hugging the container. Let me just add my button. Then put it at the center. Boom. Do you guys see what I just did now? With all content.
Please come again. Can you please come again?
Alright, so let me just go back. So I created a frame. I created this frame and I want to add a text. Let me just add auto layout to it. Let me just add this text. Let me just click on a button. And I want this, I added frame, this frame is already on all content, which is any content I'm going to add is going to all the content, just going to align with these factors that we have here, like these properties, like the for distance, for horizontal padding, and also vertical padding. So immediately I add any component, it might be rectangle, it might be text. Let me add text. It's going to follow that property for that component that I'm going to add to that frame. So let me click on button. You can see, let me be, and if you have to check, everything is going to be with that property. Then I can now add color to this. Then give it a 4. Do you understand what I just did now?
Yes. Yes.
So you know what? I don't know if you can have maybe I'll ask um someone, maybe if you can have another section on auto layout, because I think this auto layout thing is
Yes,
kind
please.
of,
I think we need it. I need it actually because
I
I'm
yeah.
think
very.
that
So
would be better.
yeah, because most of the things I've been using here is auto layout and
Yeah,
kind of complicated, and
that's
if you miss out
true.
anything, it's going to affect all. And that was one of the reasons why I created a component here. So instead of me adjusting each component, I can actually adjust this because it's the main property, then it's going to affect all. So apart from that, explaining the explanation of our cards design, form designs, and also responsiveness, I guess you have been able to understand, and you really understand the concept of everything, because all these things are UI components. These are the things you use while designing. Maybe you're designing a dashboard, you are designing a website, you are designing, you are designing anything. You just have to use everything that I just mentioned. Maybe most of the time you use forms when designing auth pages, like authentication pages, like login, sign up, forgot password, or basically when something maybe the user will have to input something. Cards, maybe you're trying to explain particular section, or you're trying to explain a particular thing in a design. The example that I showed you, Airbnb, and also it's also used maybe it's also used in e-commerce, maybe for a particular cloth. When you see it, most of the time what you see is you see the name of the picture of the product, the name of the product, the price, and there's action button called add to cart. So basically you use them the same method and you see them in different design. So you can actually check Dribble. Dribble, I don't know if you all know Dribble. Dribble is like uh inspirational site for designers. You see different method and different methodology used with cards, forms, and responsive. method. But for the responsiveness, for you to get better at it and using auto layout, you just have to keep practicing, keep practicing, keep practicing. So I think that's all from my end. If you have any other question, you can message me maybe on Twitter or on Slack, anyone. So you can check, okay, for example, now let's check cards. So these are also example of cards. Still loading. Well, these are also example of cards. So there are a lot of usage, I mean, cards usage. So you can just check them on Dribble and you see different samples. And when you see something like this, one of the best ways for you to get better is when you see something like this, just copy them into your Figma and try to design the same thing. I mean, replicate it and using the old method of auto layout, your all your UI skill, alignment, proximity, basic elements of designs, you use them all. And that's one of the best ways to get better. And when you keep doing those things and ask yourself, what is this person doing that I'm not doing? If when you check the design, you notice that maybe something is wrong, then ask yourself, what is this person doing that I'm not doing? What can I do better? What should I adjust? Is it my color usage? Is it so from there you'll be able to identify some of the things you need to improve on as a UI designer. So I think that's all from my end.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.